Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How you doing right now?
I'm a little fucked up right now. It's strange things going on. I'm thinking, you know, our system when fucking crashed or something. I just didn't have the proper buttons and switches on. But today is Quarantine 2 episode.
Yes.
We postponed last week because I had a very detrimental situation. And I almost died.
What happened?
I ain't had no weed.
You know what? That's very detrimental.
It's very detrimental to my heart. I ain't had no bud, man. I didn't have no bud. It just didn't like glue. It didn't glue for me correctly, you know.
Right. It didn't mesh well.
We just had a crazy weekend, though. I mean, crazy couple weeks.
Yes.
Being stuck in a goddamn house, want to spend money but can't. I'm just hurt.
Why are you so hurt?
It's just, you know.
You didn't have no weed, and then what else?
I want to go outside. Come on, man. I want to go outside. I want to do stuff. I want to fly a kite.
You could sit on a porch. Or the deck.
Don't mind her. She don't understand.
Yeah, because I'm a homebody.
She's not a homebody.
Then what am I?
She is an old maid.
Ooh. Disrespectful.
The one you be like, Myrtle, can you give me a cup of tea? Why can't you get your own cup of tea? She one of them maids. Like one of them old ass one. Every time I turn around, sit down, I gotta get through something else. Bitch, you the maid. The fuck? Made your ass do your job, bitch. But anyway.
Oh gosh. Well, how you feeling today? Is the day
detrimental? You know.
Or close to it?
I've been feeling a little rocky because I found out that, you know, coronavirus is racist.
Oh God.
Latest news, coronavirus is racist.
How'd you come up with that?
The Surgeon General.
Okay.
Jerome Adams.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that. Hold on. We got a package. Make sure it ain't SARS.
They ran for their lives.
Yo, James Adams. This guy, thank you, honey. This guy, he said that the coronavirus is killing African Americans at an alarming rate.
What? So that's okay. How did he come up with that?
I don't know, man, but this is what he said.
New music.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. But this is what he said.
And you've heard the stats in New York City. Hispanics
represent the majority of deaths. In Milwaukee County, blacks are 25% of the population, but almost 50% of the cases and 75% of the deaths. So what's going on? Well, it's alarming, but it's not surprising that people of color have a greater burden of chronic health conditions. African Americans and Native Americans develop high blood pressure at much younger ages. It's less likely to be under control and does greater harm to their organs. Puerto Ricans have higher rates of asthma, and black boys are 3 times as likely to die of asthma as their white counterparts. As a matter of fact, I've been carrying around an inhaler in my pocket for 40 years out of fear of having a fatal asthma attack. It doesn't matter if you look fit, if you look young, you are still at risk for getting and spreading and dying from coronavirus. The chronic burden of medical ills is likely to make people of color, especially, less resilient to the ravages of COVID-19, and is possibly, in fact likely, that the burden of social ills is also contributing. Social distancing and teleworking we know are critical, and you've heard Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci talk about how they prevent the spread of coronavirus, yet only 1 in 5 African Americans and 1 in 6 Hispanics has a job that lets them work from home. People of color are more likely to live in densely packed areas and in multi-generational housing situations, which create higher risk for spread of a highly contagious disease like COVID-19. We tell people to wash their hands, but a study showed 30% of the homes on Navajo Nation don't have running water. So how are they going to do that? In summary, people of color experience both more likely exposure to COVID-19 and increased complications from it. But let me be crystal clear. We do not think people of color are biologically or genetically predisposed to get COVID-19. There is nothing inherently wrong with you, but they are socially predisposed to coronavirus exposure and to have a higher incidence of the very diseases that put you at risk for severe complications of coronavirus. But as the Vice President shared on the call this morning, this history, and I want you to hear me say this, it does not have to be our nation's future. We're taking steps now in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic to reach, protect, and strengthen all communities impacted by this disease, and especially our communities of color. I need you to know, you are not helpless, and it's even more important that in communities of color, we adhere to the task force guidelines to slow the spread. This epidemic is a tragedy, but it will be all the more tragic if we fail to recognize and address the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 and an array of other diseases and risk factors on communities of color. The task force and this administration are determined not to let that happen. The president, the vice president have said we will not let that happen. We can't fix these issues overnight, but I promise you we will work with your communities to quickly and meaningfully move the needle in the right direction.
Now, I understand the facts that he just, spoke about. I understand it. Like, to be totally honest, I understand it. But my thing is, if you felt the need to hold a press conference and say this about the black and brown community, why aren't you personally yourself, going into these black and brown communities and help supply what we can't get, what people we can't get?
Exactly. Gloves,
masks, cleaning products, sanitizers. Why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't anybody holding workshops to teach how to make hand sanitizers? Why ain't nobody holding workshops to, you know what I mean? But that's what my idea come from, of giving away free masks.
Right.
Because it's like, who the fuck is doing that?
Right.
Who's doing it? Nobody.
It's like I saw that some people but is giving it away to the nurses, but that's not helping.
No, that's not. That's just the nurses.
Right.
I'm talking about everybody. Like, who is that gonna hurt? You know what I mean? Like, that's gonna hurt. Just if we don't give shit to everybody,
exactly,
it's gonna hurt everybody else. While this small group of people are surviving this shit,
right?
When there's shit you can do and make a mask and make sure nothing gets through it. And if you could spray water on it and no water gets through it, you could use it.
Right.
So it's like, it's the most weirdest thing.
Because there's a lot of videos out to how to make masks, but that don't help the people that can follow it. You know, that's not helping people that can't follow those directions or don't have those things. So they're actually dependent on other people.
Exactly.
To make it. But then I also see people are selling them. Like, people don't have jobs right now. Like, come on. Like, help.
No, if I had extra, I'll be giving that shit out. Yo, I got nigga. See, if I would have did that, that's what I would have done. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to even hang that shit on the door.
Exactly. Just hang it up. Right.
And it's brand new.
Exactly.
And it's brand new. Like, it ain't like I took the wrapper off. I'm just buying it from the store, putting it in the bag, hanging that knocking on the door, hanging that shit on the doorknob.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Listen, Bull went out and bought 750,000 things of fucking sanitizer, wipes, and all this shit. Mm-hmm. Put them on Amazon. Was price gouging. They blocked him, banned him from fucking Amazon. Mm-hmm. And he got stuck with it, had to wind up duty and all that shit.
Good.
Come on, you just wasted all that bread trying to be a dickhead.
Basically. And just being greedy, like you saw a quote unquote perfect opportunity to take advantage of people at the wrong time. Like, this is the wrong time for everybody, not just certain people. It's like everybody. This is affecting everybody, and for you to do that, that's horrible. It's real horrible.
Yeah, that shit weird, man. People weird, man. That's the one thing I always told everybody that ever asked me for advice. What you gotta understand is you gotta move different, because people weird as fuck.
Exactly.
The same person that say they got your back no matter what is the same person that'll leave you high and fucking dry.
Exactly.
You gotta be able to so-called whatever they ask for help, but depend on yourself.
Right.
If you can't ask for help and depend on yourself, nigga, you fucking hung out here. Mm-hmm. You hung out here, bruh. You hung. Like, you might as well hang yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's killed to be killed.
Right.
Your family is taking advantage of family.
Right.
And fucking knocking down family and killing family. Like, I never had, me personally, I never had a family member promote anything I did genuinely
without anybody,
without me having to complain and bitching about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Without me being a bitch about it. I never had a family member promote anything I did. Never.
I'm sitting here trying to think for myself, because it's like I never, and it's ironic that you said that, because every day when I go through my memories on my Facebook, I see that I have promoted and put out good words for so many people, and those same people have done shit for me.
Exactly.
Not even shared a post or anything. And
this
I'm like,
corona shit I have you in your mind.
Oh my God.
It have you in your mind.
Yes.
Like me, as everybody know, I'm dedicated to a squad. Mm-hmm. I'm dedicated to my family. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yep. You are.
Who's dedicated to me?
And that's fucked
Realistically, let's pay attention to it. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. Right. But you gotta pay attention to that shit. This corona time is to assess your shit, bro. If somebody ain't calling and checking on you, but they calling you asking for shit, nigga.
They'll just let you know where you really stand in your life.
You need to reevaluate. You need to reevaluate, B. Like, it's like, just a crazy thing.
If you ain't woke, you better get woke now.
On that note, we going to hit the music, man. We got to see